Welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing to this YouTube channel. The headlines: Yoruba self-determination struggle suffers setback. So before we dive into the news, please, if you are just joining us, don't forget to like this video channel. And for those who have not subscribed, please don't forget to click on the red button and subscribe to get more of this news. Now let's dive into the details of the news. Within the past 2 years, the agitation for self-determination for Yoruba nation in Nigeria was pursued with renewed vigor. Probably the seriousness of the TV agitation sent shivers down the spines of the powers that be in the country. Though there have been several struggles in the past to carve Yoruba nation, also known as Oduduwa Republic, out of the present Nigeria by different groups, the coordination and publicity that the struggle received under the leadership of Professor Banji Akintoye, an emeritus professor of history and Second Republic senator, were unprecedented. The agitators for self-determination for Yoruba nation predicated their agitation on the grounds that Nigeria is slowing down the progress of the Yoruba right from the time the regional government was scrapped. They also mentioned incessant killings, maiming, kidnappings for ransom, using cattle to destroy farmlands by herdsmen employed by an ethnic group in the country to dislodge Yoruba from their ancestral land. Nigeria, according to them, has failed to solve the challenges of peaceful coexistence. They alleged further that politicians, especially political office holders, are rather in government for their selfish benefit. They also urged that the demand for restructuring of the country into regional lines, as it was in the First Republic, which gave every region the opportunity to develop at its own pace, would not be sufficient and would not be an all-inclusive package in the long run, like having an independent Yoruba nation. Investigation has shown that the recent struggle for self-determination for Yoruba nation started on Thursday, August 22, 2019 in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. It was the day that the 87-year-old Professor Banji Akintoye properly became leader of the Yoruba nation, courtesy of the Assembly of all Yoruba groups worldwide. Chief convener of the meeting, Victor Taiwo, said, "From those points, we are good to go in tackling and resolving all the multifarious challenges on the ground under a single veritable leadership and coordination among the people of Yoruba race," he said. But the Yoruba World Assembly under Akintoye crumbled barely 1 year after its emergence. He renamed that organization as Ilana Omo Oduduwa. This name change attracted wide criticism, and many foundation members of the Yoruba World Assembly left the group. This made him to fall apart with the value of Ekotedo in Ibadan, as well as Dr. Victor Taiwo, two major conveners of the Ibadan program. There's a sub-headline for this: Rallies for Yoruba Nation. Akintoye, however, assembled a new set of people to embark on the self-determination for the Yoruba nation. In the process, he brought in the Yoruba nation activist Chief Sunday Adeyemo, fondly called Sunday Igboho. With the support of Igboho, the Ilana Omo Oduduwa organized rallies held in Abeokuta in Ogun State, Ibadan in Oyo State, Osogbo in Osun State, Akure in Ondo State, Ado Ekiti in Ekiti State, and Ojota in Lagos State. But there's a problem. But security agencies seriously clamped down on the participants in the rally that took place in Lagos State on Saturday, July 3, 2021. It was widely reported in the media that the rally in Lagos would be the grand finale of the struggle. But the security agencies ensured that the rally in Lagos was not successful. Can you imagine? So the raid on Igboho's house. Barely 2 days to the grand finale of the rally in Lagos, combined security forces raided Igboho's residence in Ibadan on the grounds that he allegedly stockpiled arms to destabilize Nigeria. The duplex was damaged and many expensive cars on the compound were also damaged. 2 persons were killed while more than 10 persons met in the house were arrested and taken to the headquarters of the Department of State Security (DSS) in Abuja. The arrested persons were later taken to court. Igboho was reportedly in the building when the combined security forces raided the house, mysteriously escaped being killed or captured alive. So we can see that this Yoruba nation fight, they are not doing it themselves. Igboho's arrest. He could not be found until the news came some weeks later that he was arrested at one airport in Cotonou, Benin Republic, when he tried to travel to Germany. He was taken to court in Cotonou. After many fireworks, he was admitted to bail on health ground. The court ordered that he must not move out of Cotonou pending the determination of the case. Akintoye joined Igboho in Cotonou and mobilized legal support for him. As gathered, Akintoye has not returned to Nigeria for more than 1 year, but he coordinated the activities of the Ilana Omodua from Cotonou for many months. He also mobilized Yoruba people in diaspora to stage peaceful protests and demand for Yoruba nation at the United Nations General Assembly held in New York, United States of America last year. Investigation revealed that Akintoye had the support of some Yoruba people for the actualization of self-determination for the Yoruba nation. Some Yoruba leaders who could not support the struggle openly also supported the movement in confidence. Igboho, though in Cotonou, dragged the Minister of Justice, Attorney General of the Federation, as well as DSS to the Oyo State High Court over the bloody raid on his house on the 9th of June 31 to July 1st, 2021. The case, which started in August of the same year, was finally determined in September by Justice Ladion Akintoye. The court awarded over 20 billion naira against the Attorney General of the Federation and DSS, but the Court of Appeal Ibadan Division was reported to have in August 2022 upturned the judgment of the lower court in favor of the Attorney General of the Federation and the DSS. Now, cracks in the struggle. In the midst of the struggle, news came that Akintoye has dumped the Ilana Omodua for the foreign-based Yoruba self-determination movement. The development made a number of opinion leaders in Yoruba land to conclude that a crisis has hit the self-determination movement for Yoruba nation, as the arrowhead of the struggle, Akintoye, dumped the apex Yoruba self-determination organization, Ilana Omodua Worldwide, for YSDM, which is Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Besides, Akintoye also wrote a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari requesting for a direct negotiation with a view to realizing self-determination for the Yoruba. He also called for the establishment of a sovereign nation state. He wrote the letter on the platform of the United States of America-based foundation known as Yoruba Self-Determination Movement on behalf of the Yoruba people. In the letter, he said, the self-determination agitators want the federal government to set up a negotiation team that will meet and dialogue with Yoruba Nation's representative latest Friday, September 30, 2022. But the letter dated August 6, 2022 generated ripples within IOOW on why Akintoye allegedly took the unilateral decision without consulting with strategic stakeholders in the movement. It was argued that Akintoye did not write the letter on the platform of IOOW that agitators have known him with, but on the platform of YSDM. As gathered, IOOW, known as the apex body of Yoruba self-determination groups, was formed with chapters established in all continents of the world. But YSDM was said to have been formed in July 2021 by some Yoruba elites who are mostly based in the diaspora. The formation of the YSDM reportedly took place in less than 2 weeks after Sunday Igboho was arrested in Cotonou, Benin Republic. Akintoye reportedly acted against the one of play by asking the Nigerian government for an audience and negotiation in his 20-page letter to President Muhammadu Buhari, where he affirmed that having possessed vast population, natural and human and mineral resources, the Yoruba people have decided to assert their right to self-determination by leaving Nigeria. A source in IOOW stated further that Akintoye's conduct is a betrayal of trust and a fraud against the members of Ilana Omo-Oduwa. He said it is unfair for Akintoye to take the status and legitimacy that Ilana Omo-Oduwa has worked hard to build for 3 years and hand over everything to a group of some elite known as YSDM that has less than 20 real members. Also, Akintoye stays abroad with his wife and all his children and is saying no to a referendum in Nigeria alongside some commercial agitators in diaspora. Baba is indirectly inviting Nigerian soldiers to come and exterminate peace-loving Yoruba people in the homeland who are demanding their right to self-determination through the conduct of a referendum. Now, Akintoye's open letter on effect of slave trade. In the last Sunday of August 2022, Akintoye wrote an open letter of apology to the Yoruba people, in which he did not address himself as a leader of Ilana Omo-Oduwa or YSDM. He simply addressed himself as a Yoruba leader and head of Yoruba Nation's self-determination struggle. In the letter, he spoke on the spirit of Yoruba people that were sold by their forefathers for peanuts to Portuguese and Dutch people as slaves. According to him, the spirit of the victims of the slave trade were behind the lack of growth, development, progress, peace, and unity in Yoruba land. Akintoye in the letter apologized to the victims of transatlantic slave trade in Yoruba land, saying some of the victims of the slave trade caused the future generation of Yoruba people over the unholy collaboration between the then leaders of the Yoruba people and the Portuguese and Dutch businessmen who came to Africa for the business of slave trade in the 18th century. As gathered, more than 1 million Africans, including Yoruba people, were exported to Europe and America as slaves by Europeans, bringing salt to Africa in 18th century to Porto Novo and Wydon Kingdom in the present-day Benin Republic through the collaboration of some local warriors. Akintoye said the curse is placed on the Yoruba people by victims of the transatlantic slave trade, many of whom jumped into the Atlantic Ocean, oh my goodness, during their first trips to Europe and America, need to be cleansed in order for the Yoruba people to enjoy God's favor, cohesion, unity, and progress. The open letter of apology, however, attracted mixed reactions. Some people commended him for pointing the Yoruba to a spiritual direction for a spiritual solution to the challenges in the land. But to a lot of other people, the letter was more of comedy than the serious business of self-determination for the Yoruba nation. Saturday's Sun, however, gathered from some Yoruba leaders who preferred anonymity, that the agitation for self-determination for Yoruba nation has lost the steam and seriousness it had at inception of the struggle. One of the leaders said, without an iota of doubt, you will agree with me that the struggle for self-determination has lost its steam and seriousness. It is the same Professor Akintoye that joined forces with the Middle Belt and other parts of the southern Nigeria to demand self-determination on the platform of Ninas. In fact, he was their president before he left the group. They said they did not believe in the constitution of Nigeria and that off-season elections will not be allowed to hold in Ekiti and Osun states. The group went to court and lost. Then the governorship polls were held in Ekiti and Osun state in June and July this year respectively. What are we talking about? Now, how do you want the federal government to take them serious now? As a fact, focus on one thing. Focus on one thing, please. It was invitation of Igboho into the struggle that has become his albatross now. Do you know what has happened to Igboho's business? Without joining the struggle, the young man will still be enjoying his money with his family by now. I can say that it was the demands of the struggle that pushed Igboho into the problem he is now. Going forward, we have to go back to the drawing board. The present struggle, I don't see how it can achieve the self-determination for Yoruba nation. There's no how this struggle can succeed without the support of some notable Yoruba leaders. We must find a way to persuade them to join the movement, either openly or in confidence. Oh my goodness. What do you feel about what is happening? What do you feel about this? That the Yoruba nation agitators are kind of going against themselves. They're creating this unity in the Yoruba nation people. What do you think about it? Let me hear this in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. God bless.